Hi, I'm Nick Pravan from eTalent. If you're an action coach, you probably know my guest today, Rupert Hine. Rupert has been working with us for 3 or 4 years, recruiting both for himself and also for his clients. Welcome, Rupert.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. You've been using eTalent now for a few years, both for your own recruitment and also for helping your clients. So tell me, how is that going?
Well, fantastically. I mean, I really like it. And I suppose if I look back over my career, I seem to get involved in recruitment maybe more than most. And there's sort of two big principles for me about recruitment. One is it's got to be objective, because whenever I've either made mistakes myself or seen them made, it's usually because people have relied on gut instinct and they've made an assumption rather than going off the evidence. And the second is you've got to have multiple levels of selection. You've got to have lots of things. And that's the bit I like with eTalent. It builds it all into one. It makes it easy. And you've got the information to make decisions on.
So which stage do you find most useful, or are they all useful?
The different stages are useful at different times. You know, it's all about advertise widely, get a big pool of people in, then qualify them down, get a good values and skills match, and then put them through multiple layers of selection.
Sure.
Or actually deselection, help them to deselect themselves before you get to the point where you make a final decision and an offer. And your system fits that process really nicely.
So tell me, when you first started using eTalent, what was the problem you were trying to solve?
I think initially the problem was time, and I was looking for to make my first hire as an independent employer. Looking for someone to do business development work for me. And I'd run a couple of campaigns using other suppliers to do some of the advertising. And then eventually I did it myself. And I had something like 150 applicants. And it just took so much time. And it was just awkward. It was a faff, it was difficult, and it drove me potty. And then we met. The first campaign that we ran for a business development person, and you know, similar sorts of numbers of candidates coming in. You know, it's still up in the 100 and something number of people coming in, but then you get down to that pool of 20 odd who actually meet the qualifications for the job, and all of a sudden, it's not about what's my interpretation of the variable information on the CV. What it's about is, here is some objective evidence that allows me to take that pool of candidates on to the next level of deselection.
So what about the disc profiling? What does that bring to the party as far as you're concerned?
So for me, it's all about understanding how people are likely to behave. I use DISC quite a bit when I'm working with clients normally. It's a great tool for helping to understand why some teams just gel together and some have friction, and why communication, messages get lost in communication. And when you're starting to bring somebody new into that dynamic, understanding how they're likely to behave, particularly how they're likely to behave when they're under pressure, when they're under stress, is really important.
As you know, we're constantly trying to develop the system, and one of the things we are going to be introducing in the next couple of months is as a values assessment, a motivations assessment, sort of what drives an individual. How do you see that fitting in, and do you see it being useful?
If you can get the right culture into an organisation, if you get the right people with the right values and personality in there, then you're already a million miles ahead of your competition. Give me a choice of somebody with great skills and a poor values match, and somebody with great values and a poor skills match. Well, I can probably train the skills. I'm not going to change the values. And that high values, low skill match is probably going to enhance the team. the high skills, low value is going to become a terrorist in the organisation.
It's a well-proven system. We're just adapting it to recruitment. Yeah. So thank you, Rupert. Thank you for today, not just for today, but for being such a strong supporter of what we do.
Not a problem, Nick. Thank you for giving us the tools to help us recruit the right people.
Thank you, Rupert. So if you want to recruit better people, people who fit the team and will stay, then get in touch.